I'd like to welcome everyone to episode 2 of the Muncie music scene. I will allow my guest to introduce himself.
I'm Cory Runyon of Demons of Wrathica. I also play with Legion. Thanks for having me here.
Cool, dude. Yeah, man. You're one of the people I was wanting anyway, because like the Medal of Honor shows and everything you do around here, you're one of the few people that still seem to think Muncie has something. Normally, like I said, just kind of start chronologically. When did you start playing music? I mean, I know high school and band and stuff like that, but when did you start like an actual like local band?
I started playing music when I was 12. I started playing on trombone in middle school. Played that through high school, played it through college, got my proficiency on that when I got my college degree. But then I started playing guitar when I was 13. Just kind of happened. I had a stepbrother that was at my house. He brought a bass guitar over and was just kind of playing on it. And then he brought a guitar over the next time he came over and brought a Washburn over and saw him playing some stuff. He wasn't really that good yet. He was still kind of young too. I was like, teach me what you're playing. He was like playing Iron Man or something on guitar, and picked it up. And then my dad was like, oh, you're interested in playing guitar now? And so my dad started showing me stuff, and then he taught me like some Leonard Skinner songs, some Led Zeppelin songs, some more Ozzy stuff. And I kind of got into rock and roll there for a little while, from like about 13 to 15. Started taking guitar a little bit more seriously around that time. And then fast forward to when I'm about 16, I kind of really got into like some old school stuff like Metallica and Slayer and Cannibal Corpse, and that's just kind of when I started taking off with metal and stuff like that. And then I didn't start a local band, but I joined one when I was about 16 called Fading Chester, playing with Mac Rizell, Jacob Thornburg, and Linda Richardson. And we didn't really play out a whole lot. I think we maybe only played 2 or 3 shows total.
I remember you guys at the talent show in high school.
Oh shit, I forgot about that one.
Dude, each time I try to do like memory research, and I'd like.
I don't think that was a talent show. That was the Battle for Beck.
Or yeah, it was something like that. I knew it was in the Southside Auditorium. I try to look up stuff of the people I'm going to talk to try to remember, and it popped up in like Facebook memories when I went back like 14 years ago. Something
Man,
like that.
I didn't even have a Facebook back then. I don't even know if I had a MySpace yet.
But I had pictures from like the newspaper from when I was in the newspaper, and I had posted pictures of you guys, and then I want to say it was a band. I don't even remember, dude. I only looked up you to see your stuff. I couldn't remember the other guys' names.
There was another band. I think Josh Brewer and Josh Wilkins was in.
That might have been the other one. I couldn't remember the name of.
Yeah, I can't remember either. And I know Revelation 13 played that show. That was the first time I heard of them.
Yeah, good old Joe being a teacher there.
Yeah.
Look what happened with Fading Chester. I mean,
we just played around, wrote songs throughout high school. Had a little bit of a hiatus, and we started getting back together again when we were in college for just a minute, but we weren't really doing anything. We were just jamming and trying to write songs. It's actually funny too, because we never really got anything done when I was playing with them. It was more of the traditional hang out type of band rather than work ethic type of band. And that's kind of what I'm more into now, is like we have band rehearsals nowadays. It's more of we hit it and grind. We don't sit around and smoke pot or drink beers or or do anything. Maybe they'll take a 5-minute smoke break and go outside, smoke a cigarette or something, but when they finish that, they come right back in and we get back into it. But that was the only local band I played in through high school. Up in my early years, I kind of started focusing on college and getting through that stuff, and then
your degree's in music, something to do with music. I can't
music
remember.
Media production.
Yeah, I thought it was something like that.
It's a focus on like audio engineering and stuff like that, recording live audio, just stuff like that. I did a lot of that type of stuff for a few years. Worked with a hip hop artist named New Boy Green, helped him put out some tracks, and made him some beats. we kind of stopped doing that when he moved away to Marion and stuff. But so a lot of my time I've spent doing like little projects here and there that didn't really focus on being in a band and stuff like that. And I had a lot of fun doing it. I mean, I kind of miss it, but you know, I don't really have time for it anymore.
Well, it keeps you diverse too. I mean, how many metal musicians do you know make beats for a rapper?
Yeah, I got a lot of weird little things I've done. I think I made a website one time trying to promote my recording and live audio business. And one time I was getting serious into that, and I tried to highlight my production skills because I wrote like a country song, a hip hop song, a pop song, and a rock song. And I tried to make them as cliche as possible too. It was really funny. Maybe the rock song was called Drug, Sex, and Rock and Roll, and the country song was about like a red truck, your dog, and your ex-wife. You know, it was just cliche stuff. I had a lot of fun doing that too. Actually, my favorite project that I did when I was doing that website was the hip hop video I did was a Metal Gear Solid concept video.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I never knew you did that stuff.
Yeah, I've done a lot of different things. By far, my favorite that I've done so far is playing the local scene around here. I really didn't get into it until about 2017. Well, really, I started kind of fiddling around with the band in 2016. This guy named Chase York had posted this thing about starting a cover band, and I got a hold of him. We talked on the phone for a couple hours, and we kind of, you know, it seemed like he was a pretty proficient player by talking to him on the phone. He kind of knew what he was talking about. Met up with him. He actually ended up being a pretty good bass player for somebody who never even played bass before. He was a better bass player than he was a guitar player, so I was pretty impressed. And he had this other guy that showed up for the audition. I showed up. The other guy was supposed to be the vocalist. He ended up not being able to sing the best, and so me and Chase talked about it, and well, he's not really the greatest singer, so I don't, you know, be hard kind of working with him. And Chase was like, yeah, because Chase was even a better singer than him, and I'm not trying to trash the guy or nothing. It was just kind of one of the things where, you know, somebody shows up and it just don't work out. You know, that happens all the time when you play in a band. And so
especially in the start though too.
Yeah.
Like you should probably cycle through more than just him.
Well, I ended up being like, well, I can sing too if you want me to go ahead and give an audition and stuff. And he was like, yeah, let's see what you got. And I was like, well, I don't think I remember any words, any covers. I got some originals I could play. So I played some originals, which a couple of those songs are what we have now. And I played through them and sang them. And Chase liked the music. He was like, man, I'd be down to play some originals. And so I was just like, well, we could try to, you know, do a original type of band and do some covers on the side. Well, things started progressing, and we ended up only focusing on original tunes because I just kept pushing out tunes so quick.
Yeah.
It was just like, you know, Octomom having babies, dude. It was, you know. Before I knew it, like we were on our second week of playing together, and we had 8 songs, you know, and I'd say about 3 of those I'd previously written, but the other ones I just kept pumping out. And before you knew it, we had a whole, you know, 45-minute set.
Was that the start of Demons, or what was the
We
name
were
of
originally
that?
called Born in Blood, I think. No, yeah, Born in Blood. We didn't like the name for that. It was just kind of we kind of had to hurry up and come up with something because Brittany Havlin, I don't know if you remember her or not.
Yeah, I do.
She got a hold of us and asked us to play for her birthday, which was Valentine's Day in 2017. And we weren't really ready for that yet, but we were like, yeah, we'll go ahead and give it a shot. I mean, it was just all fun. So we got a drummer. His name was Cory Kellogg. He was a cool dude, man. He really, like, he helped me out when I needed it. When I was like, hey, man, I got to go move this gear. You know, I got to go do this and that. You want to give me a hand? He'd go, sure. The only problems is he had some personal things he was dealing with that kind of really inhibited on the band pretty bad. So I ended up kind of firing him in a really probably not nice way. Basically what happened was he didn't show up to a rehearsal like 2 days before a show we had, so I went ahead and got a hold of another guy named Eric Schmutty, the guy that runs the Predator Catchers Indianapolis and Predator Catchers Muncie.
Give him a shout out. I was watching one of those videos yesterday.
I'm proud of you, Eric. Super proud of you, man. There's not a lot of people that have the guts to be doing what you're doing, man. Love that guy, dude. I mean, yeah, it is such an honor to have played with Eric for he's like one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life, dude. And he has such a good heart.
I had the chance to play with him when he played guitar for us.
For Nazera, right?
Yeah,
dude.
He was awesome.
He is one of the coolest people I've ever met in my life, dude. I've never met somebody so nice. And dude,
super down to earth too. Like,
to put what he puts on the line to catch these people, I mean, you never know what you're going to run into. I mean, they're criminals. I mean, they might not think of themselves as criminals, but they're criminals. You know what I mean? But yeah, dude, playing with Eric, we got him to come in and step up and take over for Cory in 2 days. And it was like a Wednesday. He came and started rehearsing with us. So it was probably like 3 or 4 days. And then our first show with him was at a festival out at the Water Bowl called Loser Fest that you played and stuff. He came out, he rocked it, dude. It was just like we had a pretty loose set. It was not super solid, but
I think we played together that year.
Yeah,
pretty sure, because I remember having the conversation with you about how you were still really new into the band, and I just always supported Eric. So I remember watching it. Because I knew he could drum, I just never actually watched him drum in a band. So I vaguely remember that. If it was out of the Water Bowl, it was probably a lot of drinking and other things. So.
Yeah, that was probably around the time where I just decided I probably shouldn't drink at shows too. Because I noticed that it slows me down and it makes me tired on stage. So I don't drink when I'm at shows. So I do get the opportunity to retain all of my experiences with shows. There's not really a whole lot of shows that I've done I forgot. I think that's probably a good thing in the long run. I used to even smoke pot, but I don't do that anymore either. I just stay pretty clean really for the most part. Work a union job and stuff, so just try to play it cool, play it safe, and do the right thing. Yeah. I mean, I would like to, but you know how it is.
You're a family man now, too.
Yeah, I got 5 kids, a wife. We even got a roommate right now that decided she'd come and help us out while the baby's young and stuff. So that's helping us out. It's cool having. You don't really usually have a whole lot of help with a itty bitty baby. But we got somebody at home that's. We jokingly called her the nanny, I think, when she was moving in, but it ain't like that. She don't help us that much. She just helps out around the house and kind of helps with the kids and stuff, when we're in the hospital and stuff like that. So, and it's kind of cool having somebody else around because it really does help out. I can go to band rehearsal and
that's what I was going to ask about.
Yeah, I can go to band rehearsals. They actually, dude, my family's really supportive of everything. The kids love coming to the shows, especially the 2 older boys. And when they come, my son Anders loves to come because he just likes to be with them.
He likes being with you too. I've seen you guys at the wrestling shows together and everything. Man, you can tell he's a daddy's boy.
Yeah, he's definitely a daddy's boy. He loves to just be with me, and he's kind of my world, man. Like he's such a happy, positive kid. I mean, he's came such a long way. I mean. He's on the spectrum, so he used to have these really crazy fits when he was younger, and he would just go psycho, man. And I don't know if just me working with him helped him get over it, or my wife, or he just grew out of him. I mean, it kind of seemed like it was a little bit of all of that, but he kind of got over that, and he doesn't really have breakdowns and act crazy anymore. It's kind of crazy seeing how he went from being like a little different to just kind of right where he should be for what who he is and stuff. So I don't know, man. It's just kind of an honor being able to be a musician, have a son with I don't even want to call him special needs because
I've met him, dude. I wouldn't have known if you wouldn't have told me.
Yeah, he's pretty normal. He definitely showed signs of being different when he was younger, but nowadays he's just so strong. I mean, he used to be kind of timid and weak and stuff. I mean, because his mom doesn't really talk a whole lot, and she doesn't really communicate with others at all. And he was kind of like that, but having such a strong partner that I have, and having such strong-willed kids, being around these kids, I think has been good for him. And I'm a pretty extroverted person myself, so
he gets to learn social skills from other kids his age too, which is a good thing.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I like taking him to shows for too, is because I noticed that when we go out in public, he used to be really timid and like kind of insecure around people he didn't know. And while I think the kid should be pretty aware of their surroundings and maybe not talk to strangers, I do like the fact that he does have the confidence to just like interact with people. Jeannie Bledsoe out of Indianapolis, I think.
The name's familiar.
I think she might have booked some shows at some venues in Indy.
Probably.
But she was at I know she bartends at the Emerson, and she was there like when I was on stage playing with my band. I saw her walk over to my kids and was having them headbang, and she was taking pictures of them and stuff, and that was pretty cool. And somebody, I think it might have been Chris Davis, got a nice big old picture of my kid doing this. And my kid loves to he loves to throw horns. We were in the car listening to some metal the other day, and I said, "Andrew, show me some horns," and he went, "Double metal." He's so cool, man.
Do you think he's gonna want to play when he's older?
He's kind of been playing drums since he was 2.
Oh wow.
He plays them a little differently than most people because he was small when he started playing, so he kind of used the floor tom as a bass drum. But and I didn't even really teach him anything either. I used to beatbox when he was a kid, and we just like sit there and beatbox and just be funny about it. And one day I was in bed, like it was kind of late at night, and he was around about a year and a half. No, he's about 2, and he took his clothes off. He was buck naked. He went out into my garage where my drum set was set up, and me and my ex were laying in bed, like trying to go to sleep because it was late, and I start hearing, and I walk out there, and he's just like, and I was just like, actually, I have a video of that on Facebook because I recorded it. It's somewhere on my Facebook, probably buried deep in the void of all that internet stuff. But that was pretty crazy. I was like, man, where did he get that rhythm? And nowadays he's trying to learn the bass drum. My Uncle Mike's the one that kind of works with him on learning the drums and stuff. Because I figured it'd be much better for him to try to learn from an outside source than me.
Yeah.
I felt like kids take it more seriously when their parents aren't teaching them. Because I remember the hell I gave my dad for when he coached my baseball team. So, I know what that's like. I remember it. I remember being a dick and kind of being I don't know what you call it, a selfish little shit, or entitled, I suppose.
Yeah. Coming back to it, man, what happened after the Loser Fest in 2017? What made you want to keep going?
Honestly, man, it was really inspiring playing with Eric because he was really proficient at what he did. It was obvious he just got back into playing drums when he came back to play with us, and because he was real loose, like he wasn't tight yet, and but his skills and his abilities and his creativity mostly. I try to be creative with my songwriting. I'm not saying I am, but I try to be. And what I saw he had going on, I was just like, I want to work with that.
Yeah.
And then that's what really, I was just like, man, this could be something special. And because it's not about like who writes the music or how good they are that bring you the music, but it's how good of an ensemble can you put together, in the long run. And they also say that your band is only as good as your weakest member, and in a case that's correct to some degree, but at the same time, if you work around your weakness and incorporate them the best that they can be, you can make something great out of that. And at that time, we had an extremely strong lineup. It was me and Chase York and Eric Schmitty. Chase was a really strong musician. The only problem was he was a little different too. He was kind of hard to work with sometimes, but at the same time he was a really good-hearted dude, and he was really dedicated and worked really hard for the band, and he even provided a rehearsal space at the time. So I'm really grateful for Chase. I still keep in contact with him sometimes. He hasn't been on Facebook in a long time now, but when I do catch him, I try to catch up with him.
Yeah.
Last time I saw him, we met up for Chinese food in Newcastle at that place called Ming's. He's a good dude. I'd like to play again with him sometime. Just for fun or something. Fast forward a little bit past Chase. Chase ended up quitting the band. He was having some health problems, and To be honest, I made a really poor taste joke when we were at his house after rehearsal, and I kind of pissed him off. And I didn't know that at the time because he laughed about it. And so he was like, you know what, I'm probably just going to go ahead and, you know, take my leave. And I was like, oh, that's cool, man. So that's when we went and got Nate. And Nate actually, man, he was a big part of the band, huge part of the band. Because at first, you know, I'm sitting here thinking, man, he's not really that great at playing.
But he busted his ass.
He did bust his ass to learn real quick. I've never actually worked with anybody that could learn songs as fast as him. And actually, me and Jesse, our new bassist, was talking about that yesterday because I was kind of talking to Jesse about how, you know, when somebody starts fresh on something and like they're a fresh canvas, you almost paint any picture you want. You know, Jesse, on the other hand, is experienced and he's very good. So it's like you're taking a painting and trying to recreate it from something. So like when you work with somebody like Jesse, who already has an established style or he has a feel, and he kind of has to remold his style to play with us because he's never played metal like us before. And see, that was the cool thing about when I brought Nate in, is Nate was just an open book with no pages written. You know, he got to write his own book in the band. So he learned the songs faster than anybody I've ever worked with. And it was crazy because like just a couple weeks into being in the band, we had our first show that we put on ourselves. It was just us and Quartet 6 in Valhalla. And it wasn't like the greatest turnout. Obviously it wasn't. It was one of our first shows that we booked. It's probably our third show or fourth show ever. And Nate came, rocked it, killed it. Eric came and killed it. I sucked it up. It was kind of before I started really establishing my vocal style. So I was just like, before I really started establishing my style of vocals for the band, I just kind of sang real low because my singing voice is naturally real low. You know, it's just a thing. You know, like it's probably why when we played with Tantric and I, you know, started listening to them, and I was just like, man, I could sing along to every single one of their songs because this dude's voice is as low as mine. I like this band. You know, because one of my favorite bands is Boston, and it upsets me that I can't just sit there and sing their songs. You know,
that's why you gotta be picky about what covers you choose. At least you know your range.
Right.
Some of these covers I've heard, people don't know their range.
That's probably because they try to get up there and not rehearse it and just wing it. But that happens, man. You know, it's just for fun. You know.
Oh, what sprung your Medal of Honor idea?
Well, I was talking to LaDonna Starkey about trying to put on a big show. I was just like, it's always been kind of a big goal of mine, and I kept asking her questions like, why should I do this? How should I do this? And she just gave me a bunch of ideas. You know, just make flyers, put them everywhere. She's like, and I even got a little tip for you. She's like, don't order pre-sale tickets. Go buy business cards. Have your business cards printed on your ticket design, with your ticket design rather. And I was like, man, that's a hell of an idea. So I went and bought a whole box of pre-sale tickets for $10, and it was like 250 business cards. I mean, they were just the size of business cards, but it was cheap. I was just like, man, that's a great idea. And then my whole idea behind Medal of Honor was originally it was going to be kind of gimmicky. I was going to we had 4 headliner bands for that. I was going to, and all of them had a long history of success in the scene. The first Medal of Honor consisted of Losing September, Mantra, and now Mantra of Morta, Legion, and Revelation 13, and all of them kind of really made a staple around here. And so originally the idea was I was going to give them all like a certificate with like a Medal of Honor Medal of Honor design on it, and like Metal of Honor, not metal, not like try to rip off the military. I mean, it's just like a play on that. But after I talked to Jeremy Starkey about that idea, he's like, man, that sounds cool and everything, but when you got like 7 other bands that are playing, it wouldn't be kind of fair. And I was just like, I can kind of agree with that. And actually, I kind of came up with the idea of this show for Hell Came Home. And I talked to Jeremy Starkey, and I thought we had established that they were playing, and I was getting ready to announce the show, and so I posted, how would everybody want to play this show and see all these bands, and I listed all the bands that were booked. Well, I guess there was a miscommunication between me and Jeremy Starkey. I guess we didn't finalize the booking or something, but because I remember booking the date around their schedule and everything,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden he's like, well, their ex-bassist, Miser, Kyle Miser, I think.
Yeah.
He messaged me and said, hey, we're not playing that show. I was like, are you sure? And I got a hold of Jeremy. He's like, yeah, well, we can't do that. I was like, oh shit, my bad. So, it was probably an error on my part, so I don't know what happened, but it ended up being a really successful show, and the dudes from Hell Came Home, if I'm not mistaken, they did come and hang out at that show. They just couldn't do it. I'm not, but the idea actually came for them because, like, I was just really proud of what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
They just had they had a big following at the time, and they had all this success going up in North in the Fort area.
Tons of momentum at that time.
Yeah, dude, and I'm sure they'll pick it back up when we get back out there and stuff. But
COVID era and everything.
Yeah, dude, COVID. Don't even get me started on COVID. But yeah, I'd like to see them get back out there. As a matter of fact, dude, their new album that they did with Nathan Richardson right before he left.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I don't know if you ever got to check that out, but dude, that was a pretty solid record. It was pretty.
I'm not sure if I did or not.
I want to say it's called Eye of the Damned or something.
Okay, that sounds a little bit familiar.
I could be wrong.
Probably have to hit up Starkey. He's someone I want to get.
It was a killer record, dude. Like Reed and Jeremy, man, they got some killer riffs on that album.
I mean, Starkey, that guy's he's a local legend in that sense. That man can play any instrument. He writes well.
You know, it's funny you say that, man. Necrophagous was the first death metal band I heard in Muncie.
Really?
I heard them at the Legion in Selma. I think you might have been at that show.
I probably was. I traveled to a lot of Necrophagous shows.
It was a show that had them and Tempest, Necrophagous, Revelation 13. There were some other bands I can't remember. Oh, actually, I do remember one band name, because I never heard of them again, but I think they were called Megadeth. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No, I don't remember that. So they were probably a one and done or a couple and done.
Probably. It was. I just remember laughing. Man.
Wow. Yeah, I think I do remember what you're talking about, because I used to love going to that Legion there in Selma, watching shows, especially when Tempest would put them on, because they were so always good.
I was probably about 16 or 17 at the time, because I wasn't really big into going to local shows. I was just real busy. When I was a teenager, I liked to skateboard a lot. Mm-hmm. I had my own little project every weekend when I was jamming with guys. It was the only time we get together and stuff. So, I was pretty full booked, and I didn't realize that there was a huge meat community of bands out here. Actually, I take that back. One of the first local bands I ever went to see was a guy named Josh Cass's band called Far Be It From Me.
Mm-hmm.
I saw them at this place on campus. And then I ran into this guy at the show, and I can't remember his name, but he also had a band. And he just was like, hey man, you want a CD? I was like, sure. And there was a band called Leaking Lazarus.
Yeah.
And I remember having that CD and listening to it and being like, hey, this is pretty cool. I like this, and that's kind of when I started being like, man, local bands are pretty cool. Mm-hmm. They got a lot of cool music, and it was really contemporary metal at the time. And that was what I was like kind of getting into. I was kind of getting into, at the time I was getting into like As I Lay Dying and Killswitch Engage, and a lot of this stuff that I kind of pretty much grew out of. I didn't Killswitch Engage, but like Unearthed, they were one of my favorite bands as a teenager. I grew out of them a little bit, still like them, but
I won't turn them off if they come on, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't seek them out.
They got one album that I'll go and revisit quite a bit, but Something of the Storm, song with that big hit, Zombie Autopilot.
Oh, yeah.
Love that album all the way through. It's such a solid album.
Dude, I haven't listened to that. I think that might be what I do after we're done. I might have to go down that lane again.
Yeah, I just remember always hearing like little things about the scene around here. I remember there's a band around here called Mantis. Wasn't that Jason?
Yeah, we talked about that on the last one.
Okay, I haven't got to watch it yet. But yeah, I remember when they had that band, and then there was this TV show, the Ozzy Osbourne
one.
Yeah, where Ozfest was gonna, try to get a local band in on.
Mm-hmm.
They had another band called Mantis, and didn't that make them change their name?
Yeah, Jason went on it. If you listen to the episode, man, or watch the video, you're a busy dude, so I understand anyway. He talks in it about at first they weren't going to change their name because their Mantis was like one N and the Ozfest Mantis was two N's. But then they started noticing online and like beginnings of social media and stuff that band was getting popular, and then they decided that it was probably time to change the name because that band ended up, I think, winning the show. So
nice. If I'm not mistaken, didn't they change their name to Red Horse?
Yeah, Red Horse.
That's what I thought. Man, I can't believe I remember all this stuff because I was never really actively a part. But I guess I retained it because I cared a little bit.
Yeah.
You were one of the only people I actually did follow, mostly internet stuff. I remember checking out your Nazero stuff, and there's another band you were in. I think it was more heavier.
I was in a Leviathan Rising back, God, dude, that was 12 years ago now.
Man,
that's crazy.
That was
I just made myself.
That was mostly the guys that.
It was
Tempest.
Most the Tempest, and then me and Chris Smiley.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, man, Tempest was I remember Tempest because I went and watched them a few times, and I liked their energy, and that's how I got exposed to some of the other local bands like Beyond Agony, and I guess I did go to more local shows than I thought. Beyond Agony was they were pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
I actually just recently I posted a Facebook status. I was like, whatever happened to Beyond Agony? And I didn't even realize I was friends with the old drummer from that band on Facebook.
Are they even doing anything?
No, they haven't been active in I think like 15 years or something. I don't care.
All right.
So they haven't been active in 15 years, and he commented and said, yeah, we just kind of decided to let it go and go our own separate ways. And I even messaged him and asked him, I was like, hey man, I do this show where I try to get some nostalgic bands to come back and
You're trying to get them back together.
I tried to see if they could do one show, and he's like, man, it's just not possible. And I was like, oh, that's cool, man. Shit happens. I mean, we all go. Like if I tried to do like a Fading Chester thing, which would be really stupid. Like they live one of the members lives across the continental United States or something. He was living in California. I think he's living in like Pennsylvania or something now. And
it's Linder, isn't it?
No, he just moved back a couple of years ago. He's back in the Muncie area. He lives in like Yorktown or something. He's doing real good for himself. Married, 2 kids, works a lot. Relatable. He's getting back. He just messaged me a few weeks ago. I think he's trying to get back into playing some music a little bit. I don't know if he'll probably play live or anything, but he said talking about building a recording studio and buying some new guitar gear. So that's cool.
It's a good outlet. I mean,
yeah.
Even if nothing comes from it, at least you got something to do.
Yeah, music is the best outlet.
Your first Medal of Honor, who all played that? Because I don't even remember. Should have done my research a little better.
No Hope for Reason, Rattlesnake Mafia, Dreams of Madness, now Dovin's Gate, Cocaine Culture.
I thought we played the second year.
You played the first.
Is that when we showed up in drag?
Yes.
All right.
Oh man, that was a beautiful show. Man, the fact that you guys had the balls to do that, I had a lot of respect for you guys. And not to mention that was when I first started hearing you guys were like really raw and super loud, so it was really hard to take. And then when you guys started getting more tame and were really getting down, and I was like, man, these guys are fucking good.
Appreciate that.
One of the first times I think I remember going, holy shit, we were playing a show together, or maybe I came to watch you guys play at a Big Shots ballroom. I was just like, damn, dude, these guys are starting to get it. And I don't know if it was just like the change of pace with the drummer that you got with Sean, or what, but once he started playing with you guys, everything just changed. And no hate to the other guy or nothing. It was just probably didn't even have anything to do with him. It was just circumstantial or whatever. And it's just like you guys have been just amazing ever since. I'm kind of going to miss your old school shoegaze stuff. Man, it was different. Nobody else is doing anything like that around here. And then the one time you guys played a show with another band at Be Here Now that was kind of like you guys, was like almost like a commercial version of you guys. It wasn't the same, you know. And it's no hate towards them.
Yeah,
I know where people
exactly
go with that
you're
cleaner
talking
sound,
about.
where they try to, you know, be more ear pleasing, and you guys are trying to be more self-serving. When kind of that's what music's supposed to be. But you know, everybody's intentions for why they make music's different, you know, and I respect that. But you guys like just do something way different, you know. There's no other bands around here that's done that, and that's kind of what drew me to you guys, and always like wanted to be there to support you guys.
I appreciated having us on that show, because we all thought like the Medal of Honor and like with Legion and Mantra and playing, we were just kind of like, do we fit in? But we fit in the sense we were loud and we kept up.
Well, you guys do have some heaviness to them songs, and you gotta remember that we're not always a heavy band either.
Yeah.
Like we're not exclusively just a metal band. We make we just kind of write what we want to. We don't try to please others either. I mean, have you heard our song "Muncie Coming Home"?
Yeah.
That little pop tune. It's barely pop rock.
There's nothing wrong with that. I support that. What happened with Schmutty? How did Dave end up in the band? I actually, personally, I'm curious, because I don't even know if I know the story.
Well, I'm sure you recall when I was, I'm not going to go into why, but when I was not doing real good, I got out of that situation. Everything just changed and kind of got me right back on track. But I was in a bad position, being surrounded by people I didn't need to be around, and it was kind of making me incredibly abrasive and temperamental. And we were playing so many shows. We played like 60 or 70 shows in 2018, and Eric was getting tired of it. I mean, he had to work, and you know, he was sacrificing a lot of his time and energy.
Is he still doing that traveling job?
No, this was after that.
All right.
So he kind of came at me, was like, hey man, like I get we're wanting to play shows and stuff. He's like, but I don't really want to play shows like this venue or that venue. You know, the turnout's never good and super small and it's so far away. And just because of all the stuff I got going on, it really just irritated me, because it made me feel underappreciated, which was probably irrational at the time, because all the stuff I was doing for the band to give us opportunities and stuff, because you know, I was the only one ministering the band, which makes sense. I mean, I'm just the only original member at that point, you know.
Yeah.
So Eric decided he was gonna, you know, step down. He's like, man, I'm just gonna go ahead and quit. And it really upset me, because dude, I love playing with Eric. And that was around the time where he got super solid and became this just phenomenal drummer. I mean, like, he's got this energy and this style that is just unmatched by people. You know, I mean, he is just a fun time to play with. And after he left, we had a hard time finding a drummer, so we had to start playing with computers and drum tracks.
I remember that time.
And because we weren't going to cancel shows, we weren't going to slow down just, you know, his departure. I think that me and him recently reconnected back in August. I mean, we were cool before that, but I was like, hey man, we got a show, Dave can't play, I'd like you to, you know, if you want to come sit in, we'll pay you. And he came and sit in, and we got super lucky too, because the amount of money that I offered him, we made at the show. So like we didn't have to pay out of our pocket to pay him, which we lucked out on.
Yeah.
You know? So
lucky getting paid.
Right. So and it put us back in good grace with, not because we paid him. He probably would have did it without.
Knowing Eric, he would have done it.
We only offered it to him because, like, for one thing, actually I think I still owe him money from the last show he played with us. We got paid after he left, so that happens every time we play with him. But
Eric, if you're listening, Cory owes you money.
But yeah, dude, playing with Eric was always an honor. I know he's not one of my best friends, but he is one of my favorite people.
Yeah. I've always loved that dude. I may have not talked to him in a couple of years, but he's just a good guy. You're good, dude. I'm just putting this out. I didn't plan ahead.
It's all good. But, you know, fast forward to where we are now, it did put us in a position where we could get Dave. And Dave Dalton, man, he is just the most brutal fucking drummer.
I'm looking forward to having conversations with him.
Oh, dude, you'll have to probably provoke him a little bit to get him to talk. He won't just start rambling on about stuff like me.
Yeah, it's all good though.
But playing with Dave is a whole beast in and of itself. I mean, there's nobody that can play drums just quite like him. I mean, how many guys you know that play as heavy as he does, but doesn't just destroy their drum set? I mean, he plays with such a perfect and a discipline, and like he's just a graceful drummer. And somebody that he doesn't slap the cymbals in my ears. He even hits the drums like to a perfect tone. Like, I mean, there's nobody that plays like him. He is literally, in my opinion, one of the best in the world. And he probably, if he watches this, he might be pissed that I said that, but you know, that is my opinion. I mean, dude, I've never played with anybody quite like him. And I meant that when I said that about Eric too. They're two entirely different beasts. But Dave Dalton is probably the best drummer I have and will ever play with. I mean, I just don't know anybody that can play like him. I actually just had a new recent experience with him last Tuesday, where so I was having kind of some problems getting my son, and it was just, they didn't have to be like that, but it was just, you know, it happens. And I got kind of really irritated and decided to put myself in my garage and play on my guitar for a while. Wrote this really heavy collection of riffs, and I took all that stuff over to Dave's house, and this is one of the first times I ever get to write a song with somebody where I'm not writing at all. And so I'm showing these riffs, and he's like, "Hey, let's try this. Let's try this. Let's do this. Let's reverse these riffs this way." And I'm just like, man, dude, like, all I got to do is just hash out some music, and this guy can organize it, you know? And like, and I've never had that before, because this guy, he's just got ideas, man. He has a knack for style, and that's why I think he's so good at drums, man, because he knows exactly what to do with style. Style is like the most important part of a song, in my opinion, other than your texture, you know?
Yeah, and the diversity Dave brings to the table, too. I mean, you think all the projects he's been in. I mean, even to go back to the Red Horse conversation, he was with Red Horse and So Saith. He did the Yellow Tooth Now, which is great. Your band, Legion. The dude, he can bounce around genres and still play really well. Like, you don't get, in my eyes, you guys lucked out getting Dave. That dude is fantastic. And he brought, no offense to Schmutty, but obviously, but I feel like you found that.
He made Demons of Wrathica what we are.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Like, you found that, I don't want to say missing piece because it wasn't missing, but you found that person to help bring that out of you guys.
Yeah, I feel like Eric made us energetic and made us different, but Dave made us a metal band, and that was the goal the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, and which is because that's what I like to play. I like to play metal. It's what I do best in guitar. You know, sadly. I mean, I've played country, gospel, Americana, and traveling bands. I've played. I almost forgot about that. You know, I've played in. Well, actually, that was a country. That was like a contemporary country traveling gospel band. The one I played Americana country gospel was my grandpa's church, when I used to go to his church when he was a pastor before he had a stroke. And he passed away in 2019. He was a huge influence on me playing music too. Playing music in his church is actually kind of what got me to learn about tonality and basically, you know, key signatures and how to modulate, or not rather modulations, but how to make key changes when what key change goes with what melody type of thing.
You a lot.
Yeah, and it was mostly experience learning. So basically, he's like, "Hey, you want to play guitar in the church band?" I was like, "I don't know how. Like, I know how to play guitar, but I was like, I don't know a song." I was just like, "You'll learn." Threw a guitar on me, and they started playing these country gospel songs, and I'm up there like looking at my Aunt Della as she's playing bass. What chords next? Oh, that, yeah, okay. And finally got to the point where I could play all these songs by ear without even knowing what the next song was, you know, because it just kind of has a natural flow. It's like the blues. It's not the blues, but it's like the blues where you know what's happening next. It just happens. It's more of a feel than it is a musical knowledge type of thing. Forgot all about that.
Dude. With Dave and everything going on, how's the past like year been as a band, dude? This is something I got to bring up to bands that I'm talking to and musicians, just because I know venue shutdowns, mask mandates, all that. Like, how did it impact you guys?
We got kind of lucky because none of us were really afraid to play, and we kind of had the mentality that we didn't want to live in fear and stuff, and which we still had to be careful or whatever, because we have family members that are sensitive to illness and all that type of stuff. So I didn't really get out a whole lot during COVID, except like maybe right at first, because I knew shit was about to shut down, and I definitely wanted to get out of my house and get some things done before I knew that shutdown was coming. Once the shutdown hit, all I did was go to work and come home, and man, I saved a lot of money though. But mostly the first show that got canceled was the Mason Metal Fest that you organized.
Yeah, dude, that still makes me mad, but
I still have the pre-sale tickets that I ordered for you at home.
COVID.
I need to bring you one so you have it as a souvenir of
something
of a COVID failure. Stupid ass COVID. I almost made a bad joke about. I was like, man, is COVID even real? Yeah, that shit's real. My mom almost fucking died of it, kind of. And she didn't almost die of it, dude. She got so sick. She was taking a bath in her bedroom, or in her bedroom, and she got so sick in it she couldn't get out of her bathtub, and she laid there for hours.
My mom was hospitalized with it back in October. I actually had to take her to the hospital. She was about to pass out in the living room. She couldn't breathe.
Man.
So.
Yeah, dude. I think my dad had it. Either that or he was exaggerating a cold. But my dad got pretty sick a while back. He didn't go to the doctor or nothing.
When did you guys start playing though? And the COVID, because what?
I want to say August might have been our first show back. Yeah, the Ruin. We played a show at the Ruin with Mantra and a couple other bands. I think one of them was North Haven, and we played one with that show. I had another band called FS. I can't remember what that stood for, but we had to play with all those.
I think I designed a flyer for that because that lineup sounds familiar.
It was a Chat Sour show. So yeah,
either me or Don hit.
So yeah, that was a killer show, dude. It was one of my favorite shows, actually. It was one of the first times where we were playing a show and people were shaking the whole building, and people were going wild. That show was pretty funny though, because there's a woman in the crowd like sexually harassing us on stage, and my pregnant now wife was like getting pissed off, and luckily she's got good public relations and doesn't like go out of her way to say. She won't do anything to sabotage our band, so like
Jessica really, fuck somebody up. So.
Yeah, dude, Jessica isn't somebody to play with, and I'm not just that guy that says that because they got a tough life. I mean, she is like a seasoned martial artist.
Yeah,
like
that's what I mean.
3, 4, or 5 black belts, did kickboxing, jiu-jitsu.
Definitely a good thing she knows how to, like, in public, like she can care. She cares about.
When she comes to shows, she is my bodyguard. She will give you brain damage like she gave that guy in the prison that tried to kill her.
That's why I liked having her one time. She ran the door for me so I could enjoy the show myself. She like ran it so I could play the show, conversate and do all that.
She'll always do what she can to help. She is a hard worker, man. My wife. Dude, she is like one of the reasons I can do what I'm doing. It was so hard before because I was so alone.
Well, that's one thing I wanted to bring up anyway, man. You get the 5 kids, you're married, union job, you're a family man. Like, how's that? Even with the pandemic, I mean, you get to spend more time at home, but, I mean, I know Jess is always supportive of the music, too, because, I mean, I saw her at every show damn near you guys played once you got together.
Well, obviously, the kids need their dad. I fathered 2 of them, but I got 3 stepkids, and we're all real super close, and they obviously need me around. So I don't sacrifice too much of my time, but I will sacrifice the time I need to get stuff done musically, because I don't want to half-ass it, and I also think it's a good way to teach the kids work ethic, that you have to go out and do stuff, and that you have to make time to get things done in life. And if I would just be like, oh, I'm just going to stay home and hang out with you kids right now instead of going, I mean, I will do that if I have to. Like if they need some time with me or whatever, I would cancel rehearsal and just stay at home. But at the same time, we don't rehearse unless we got shows coming up because, we just try to make sure that we do have family time and you know, staying on top of our own priorities and our own personal responsibilities. And so I do get a lot of time with the kids. And one kid I, you know, wish I could get more time with is my son Anders. But you know, I gotta share custody with somebody, and I don't really want to get into that.
Yeah,
so.
you don't have to. We've talked about that personally. We don't need to come into that on here.
Yeah, but he's an awesome kid. He needs me probably more than anybody else. I got a newborn at home. I guess he kind of needs me a lot right now. But
Cory Jr.
Yeah.
I think it's great, man. I love the fact that you're so involved in everything, and you can still maintain having a healthy, active family life and still be able to play shows and do all that and have the support of your wife and kids. I think that's great, dude. I really think you got a great situation.
The cool thing is, like, a lot of the all-age shows, they can bring the kids to. You can't bring the two younger ones, because one's 4 and one's a newborn.
Yeah.
But we got a 7-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 10-year-old. And they love the shows. They love going.
Have they been in any since the pandemic, or?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I'm not. I guess back when the whole pandemic thing went out, they made it sound, or came out, they made it sound like kids weren't as susceptible to getting as sick as adults. So because of that, you know, I wasn't too worried about them. I'm kind of worried about the newborn, just because, you know,
the immune system's not built.
Yeah. But as far as the other kids, you know, they're tough, they're strong, they're healthy. And they like to come to the shows, and I think it's important to try to get young kids more into the metal genre, because it's kind of dying with the younger generations, because they're more about that self-gratification or instant gratification, self-righteous, narcissistic music, and I get it, because like a lot of kids, you know, they were taught by their parents who were picked on and didn't have high self-esteem to value themselves and to have self-confidence and all this stuff. And I think at some point, you know, you've got to balance a level of humility with your self-confidence to try to kill the ego.
Yeah.
You know, and I really don't want to bring this up, but you know, there's a band that I work with in Muncie, and you know, I love working with them. And half that band doesn't like me or didn't like me, right? And you know, and so instead of like taking it personal and being like all this drama that they got going in some of the areas around here right now, that, you know, I just decided to keep that, you know, on a non-surface level, work with them and keep going, and, you know, and maintain professional relationships rather than trying to let my, you know, my pride get in the way.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to say I don't have pride, you know. I don't feel like I do, but it has to be there. Otherwise, why would I do all this?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and I try to do it as egoless as possible. And
nope, we're at an hour. Hang on. Hold that thought. We will start again in a second. Stop that.
Holy crap, my foot's numb. My toes. Man, I'm glad this dog bite ain't getting infected.
Round 2.
Round 2. Fight!
I'm actually pretty stoked on that new Mortal Kombat movie that's about to come out, but that's completely separate from the fact. Where were we at on that? Oh, talking about working with bands that don't necessarily like you or agree with something, but you maintain a professional attitude with them.
Yeah, and I think that it's reciprocated. They do the same with me. So, I don't dislike really anybody in the music scene at all. Mostly because I have to, you know, I mean, somebody really have to do something really horrible to me for me to dislike them. Like, I'm not going to say that, but yeah, you know, I try to get along with everybody. I try to maintain professional relationships. I don't like watching bands like get self-destructive. It kind of sucks watching them implode themselves. Yeah, it's just like, I wish I could,
Well, talking about the implosion thing, dude, that was the thing I was worried about with the pandemic. Like, bands like you and Mantra and other bands I'm used to seeing all the time, you know, like, I'm not seeing you guys, wondering what's going on. That's why I started reaching out to you more and talking to you more, is because I wanted to make sure everything was still good. I didn't want, like how you're talking about, like the band self-imploding. I wanted just to make sure the people that I liked are good.
Right. Yeah, man, I always appreciate you reaching out because, like, out of all the people in the music community, I'd say you've probably reached out to me the most, besides Chris Davis, who's also a killer dude.
Yeah.
He's one of the nicest guys around, man. Dude, I do want to talk about Muncie for a minute. Muncie has one of the strongest scenes right now in terms of talent. I've never seen Muncie be this talented in a lot of ways. I mean, you got, I think Quartet 6 isn't active anymore, but we did have them. We had Cocaine Culture, Dreams of Madness, Dovin's Gate, whatever you want to call them. Now they're called Dovin's Gate. Demons of Wrathica, Legion, Hell Came Home, Mantra of Morta, and every single one of these bands has like a very proficient level of musicianship. And like, there's been bands where they were real simple and just, you know, just played to have fun and just, you know, just rock. And now it's like music has changed. Like, music is changing. And you'd almost hear that, like, people have more of their own perspective on what music should be. I think Cocaine Culture actually is a really good example of that. I would also say Mantra of Morta is a good example of that. Because it seems like Jesse doesn't sound like anybody else, and their music is like really, really different. Like, they got some really nasty riffs in a good way.
No, I get what you mean.
And Thomas, I think he's one hell of a lead guitar player, dude. Pickles, oh dude, don't even get me started on his drumming. I mean, just all the members in that band are just incredibly talented and proficient.
And they're all good people.
Yeah, dude, and their music is just so refreshing. Like, I can't like go and listen to another band that sounds like them to me. Like, they don't sound like Lamb of God, you know. They don't sound like Killswitch Engage. They don't sound like Arch Enemy. They don't sound like any of these bands. You know what I mean? They kind of have their own thing going on. And despite just being really heavy and nasty, but they also are super beautiful and just purely aesthetic sonically. And one of the best concerts I've ever seen in my life was when they were playing Mosh Up to Masses 4. It was just so, I literally cried. I fucking cried during their set because it was just fucking beautiful. Man, dude, I was so motivated by that show. The only show I'd ever seen before that where a band played better, or I wouldn't even say better because that show took this spot, but I saw Megadeth in 2017, and it was the most sonically amazing show I'd ever seen at the time. And then fast forward to Mosh Up the Masses 4, not only did those sound guys like just make them sound amazing, they sounded amazing on their own too. So, I mean, it was just the perfect storm for them, dude. I've just never, like, and the show for me didn't start until she came down for those hooks, man. And once she came down for those hooks, shit got real, dude. And I was just like, damn, they're killing it. And I was just never, I don't think I'd ever been so proud of a local band before. I mean, I have been super proud, but that was a moment where I was like, this is magic. Like, this, it doesn't get better than this. This is the best, you know. And then Hell Came Home played right after them, and I can't say that they replicated that exact magic, but they played an amazing set too. And that was when I was like, dude, this bassist sounds amazing. That dude's rig was killer. Kyle Miser, man, that dude has the best sounding rig I've ever heard.
I wasn't down there when their set started, but the bass is what drew me down. I walked down the hill to the stage, and I was like, dude, this fucking guy, like, what the hell is he playing? Like, I want to see this. And I just stood for like 15 minutes, pretty much right in front of where he was playing, just absorbing it. That whole night was cool, though. I enjoyed everything about that.
I did some fun stuff that night that I probably shouldn't talk about on camera, but it was a good time, man. It was man, that was a magical night. I don't think I've ever been so proud of a band in my life for playing so good. I mean, like, and then watching them ever since, which being at the Water Bowl outside is just kind of a really good treat. It's nice to have that open area without so much reflections and so much standing waves, and being able to hear the music just flow past you, rap, you know what I'm saying? It's a different experience of being inside a building where everything's just accumulating in sound and just kind of turning into a bunch of mud. So that probably plays a huge role in me not seeing them play such an amazing set since. I mean, all their sets are amazing, but that one was just magic. I mean, it's the best performance I've seen like to this day. And to think that it's a local band from my area is like an honor, man. You know what I'm saying? Because like, I love all the bands around here. There's not a band around here I don't like. There's not a person in these bands that I don't like. You know, and that's special because like, I mean, there's people, bad eggs in this community, but they weeded themselves out. They're gone. You know, I mean, they're still around, but they have nothing to do with this scene. You know, and now it's just like we all get along. We all will play together. We all just, it's like a little tight-knit community, and we don't suffer a lot of the negativity that some of the other places do, and I think that makes it special too. You know, I'm really proud of the guys in Losing September dude, they've been at it for like about 13 years now, just pushing and pushing and pushing, and they never gave up, they never stopped. They rotate members out here and there, and they just stay on it, man. And you know, I got respect for that. And now they got like a 9-year-old kid playing drums for them, and he's killing it.
Yeah,
man.
I watched the videos from that kid. And Nick in that band, he's just a phenomenal guitar player in person. And
yeah,
he's in the same boat as you now. He has twins, and he's a new dad. I'm not sure how old they are now, but I mean, it's still new, obviously. His first kids. So yeah. I can only imagine, man.
I mean, in the battles that he's faced, I mean, he beat cancer, successfully went into remission. Hope he always stays there.
Same.
Nick's one of my favorite people, dude. He's actually, I need to talk about them for a minute because there came a time where nobody would give us a chance. Like, I couldn't even get half the people in the music community around here to even message me back to talk to me, you know, and mostly because they probably didn't know who I was. And I was probably just, you know, some guy to them that, just, you know how it is, where people just message you and you don't know who they are, and they're just like trying to make conversation with you, like.
You bring up that tight-knit thing too. A lot of musicians don't like to work with bands they don't know or they've never heard of.
Right. And Bruce and Nick from Losing September, they were one of the only people that ever took a chance on us at first. Because the Loser Fest was like our first real show. We played 2 shows before that at that rinky-dink little punk cowgirl place that weren't even real serious shows. Our second show, I think, was with Mantra, and that's how I met them. I'd heard them before because I saw them every year at the Loser Fest for a couple years before that. They used to have another vocalist, a male vocalist. I actually prefer them just with the single vocalist.
No offense to the other, they've been through.
Oh, he had a good voice and stuff, but like it's just like I just prefer listening to the band as is now with just Jessie because she does have something special, and I appreciate that. But you know, going back to Losing September, they're the only ones that really gave me a shot, and so they put us on the bill. At the time, we were booked as Celtic Battle Gods. That was before we were Demons of Wrathica, because we kept cycling through names until we found one. We had 3 names up until Demons of Wrathica. It was Born in Blood, Celtic Battle Gods, and then finally Demons of Wrathica. And so we played that show as Celtic Battle Gods. They originally billed us as Born in Blood, but we changed the name in the middle of that. And they gave us a shot. They put us like early in the middle part of the set and let us do our thing. They gave us tickets to sell. We sold the shit out of their tickets.
You did every year you played that, man. I remember that distinctly.
Yeah, well, I kind of have a little bit of a salesmanship mentality, and I think that you have to have that to be able to sell tickets. You could be in a successful band like Hell Came Home and not be able to sell tickets, you know what I mean? Like, just because, like, you know, I imagine that those guys don't really have the time to push shit like that, and I love to do it. You know, and that's one thing, is like bands.
You travel, too, to people. You don't always expect them to come to you. You show up to them, which is a good thing.
I will locally. I won't drive like out of town to sell somebody a ticket. I've even had to mail people tickets and have them PayPal me money or send me a check or something. But yeah, I just like to sell tickets. I'm good at it. I don't mind doing it, and that's why, you know, people probably will judge us for taking shows where we sell tickets on, but I'm just like, I'm good at it. So, you know, it's why not try to exploit my own strengths, I guess, you know. And well, I don't like the idea of selling tickets, because I feel like the promoters that do that bank on you not selling any, you know, or just selling enough to make them money. And Losing September actually didn't do that to us. They even gave us a little bit of a guarantee on top of our sales tickets, you know. And I think it was like to try to help us like not, if in case the tickets didn't sell well, we could at least make something, because they knew that people would come to watch us. But and then we sold the hell out of tickets, and we always make pretty good money at those shows because of how many tickets we can sell. And I mean, it's getting to the point where I'm just about to be like, hey guys, you want to just throw us a little guaranteed, and you guys can take some of the ticket profits instead. It's like, I mean, we were making like $250 off a show just playing like a Blizzard Fest.
Ticket sales.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, that's a huge chunk of money that we could have used for revenue. Because I mean, really, we're a local band. We're probably worth more like $100-$150. With the draw that we can bring to a show like that.
That's a good thing about Losing September, though, because they, like you said, dude, they've been at it 12, 13 years now. They know the grind. They know what it's like. They remember probably not making shit at shows to making $250 at a show, and they want bands to feel what they're feeling. I have a similar history with them. When I was in Leviathan Rising, Losing September always booked us on shows with them. When I was in Zara, Losing September always booked us on shows with them. Cocaine Culture, we've played a fuck ton of shows with Losing September, and we're two different sounding bands. It's because they're always helpful. That's
I think that, and the one thing I like about them is they will book local bands from other regions, but they really do. It seems like they do. The bands that really help themselves, they will help them out. And that's kind of why they helped us out so much. Because I mean, I was pretty good friends with Bruce. In the early 2010s. I kind of met him at Doc's, and then wasn't really close to him then. But then I started playing his open mic nights the following moon, and that's kind of really where my localness started playing out and stuff around the 2012, 2013 era. And I started playing there in Silo up there, open mics, and I started doing these Russian gimmicks, and I would talk shit to the crowd and be like, "Mother Russia, over capitalist peaks," And I liked it because I would get heat on me. I had a guy that had been in the military come up to me and get shitty with me after the show. I'm like, dude, it's just a gimmick, man. It was fun though. It was fun, dude. It was kind of cool playing like a wrestling style heel. I'm not gonna get into that.
Yeah.
But so that's how I got connected with Bruce, because he would do the open mic nights, and started doing them with him, and we had a couple super fucking awesome drunk nights, and we connected. Even that was the first time I opened up for a local band. He's like, "Hey man, I really like what you're doing. Would you like to open up and play an acoustic set before we play?" And that was like the first real show I'd played in years, like at least 3 years, 4 years maybe. And so I opened up for him and played some acoustic tunes, a couple covers, and then I kind of just free-handed. I started playing a Losing September song, and like just out of the blue, and everybody kind of went crazy because they were like, "Who's this guy? And why is he playing their music?" And they started singing along because it was I can't remember what song it was. I wasn't even playing it right, but I guess it was close enough because everybody knew the song. Feel Betrayed or whatever.
Oh, Betrayed.
Yeah. That was the song I played, and I was always a big fan of that album. That album actually brought me back to appreciating local music, the Project Mayhem album, because the first album was okay. I like it. I bought a copy of it off iTunes, but when the Project Mayhem came out, I actually decided that I was going to buy a physical copy of it, and I bought it and I listened to the shit out of that thing. It was just, I liked it, man. It was definitely different than the first album they put out. It's my favorite thing they've done so far, and it was inspiring to see how hard they tried to be as good sounding as they did. They obviously put a lot of money in their recordings, going to professional studios and stuff, and I admire that because they're really trying to sound good and be a professional band. And I'm kind of trying not to do that. I'm trying to be more raw. I'm going to record our own stuff. I'm going to record real amps.
That's what I was going to draw into the conversations. You mentioned on Facebook you're going to record an album. What's that going to look like?
Well, it'll have I can't remember how many songs on it, somewhere around 15 songs.
Oh, wow.
It's stuff you've probably heard before if you've heard us live, because we're going to re-record some of the stuff we previously recorded. The 3 songs on that second EP we released, and then a few of the songs on the first thing we released, because we decided that if we wanted to play those songs, or have recordings of those songs with a more modern take and approach to them, You know.
When can we expect to hear something from that?
Hopefully, I'm kind of hoping I get laid off from my job, because I'm union, so if I get laid off, might be off work for a little bit, and they'll, you know, put me back to work somewhere else maybe. But right now, working the 60 and 70 hours, it's been a little slow moving process. I got one song completely recorded other than bass tracks and my guitar solo, a song called Reflections. Guitar tones sound pretty awesome on it. I used a pretty unconventional guitar technique of recording them. There's a guitar technique or a recording technique that a lot of people use to record guitars called reamping, where they'll record an amp with a microphone or two microphones, and then they'll have another track going into a DI, going directly into the system, or they'll use an amp sim and create a digital amp.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And instead of doing that, I was like, man, what if I used 2 amps and just ran them in stereo and recorded them and did my, you know, rhythm tracks left and right, and it gave me that reamp style to it, when it was real. And so, because like one of my favorite things about music is like, how did they record it? Like modern stuff, I don't really like because it all sounds the same. It sounds clean.
You can tell when a lot of it's too digital.
It's too clean. Because back in the day when they did, you know, analog recordings and stuff, you know, there's much more limitations that limited their sound. I mean, you know, you couldn't record, you know, 20,000 hertz on tape. You know, you can't hear that.
Yeah.
Now we got microphones and digital preamps that, you know, exceed the range of human hearing. Because of that, we have all these harmonics. Because there's studies that say that, you know, even the frequency content we can't physically perceive affects the other sound that we hear, right? So you might have a huge mode at like 24,000 hertz, and that could potentially roll down somehow and affect what you can hear. You know, just because you can't hear it doesn't mean it doesn't affect what you do hear.
Yeah.
You know, and so now we got all this super clean music, all this new digital stuff, and it's awesome that we can sound so great, but at the same time, it doesn't sound real anymore. And so, like when I think of like peak sound quality in recordings, I think Iron Maiden, because like there was no bullshit crazy processing on their stuff. Like even when I go back and listen to like Metallica's first couple albums, there's so much reverb on their shit, dude. It's annoying, but overall the recordings are still awesome. I love going back and listening to Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets and Slayer. I love that old shit. I just love that sound. That's the sound I love.
So your approach on this album is going to be more that old school approach?
Probably not, just because like I am doing digital recordings.
Well, but as close to it as you can get, which is keeping everything real.
Dave already did the drum tracks. They're all completely done, and he did everything real. Other than I think he did a bass drum sample. I don't think he did snare samples, but he may have. But everything else is real: his cymbals, his drums, like his toms, and he used triggers for bass drums. That's about it. And you know, for metal, that's pretty traditional.
Yeah,
has been since like the late '80s, early '90s. But I kind of expected that, and I was ready and hoping that we'd have that. To be honest, because it's really hard to get that sound you want out of a natural bass drum.
Oh, I know.
Actually, his bass drum sounds pretty good live. It sounds nice and full. And
get to hear Clifton bitch a lot when we record. You guys going to title it?
The name of the album will be Rise of Nakamura, and I have the art for it. I'll send it to you at some point if you want to check it out. Look at it; it's pretty cool. I bought it off a guy that owns a little sole proprietorship where he does art called Droned Covers. I think he's out of the UK. I just happened to stumble upon his website and saw the picture. I was like, holy shit, that's what I need. That's exactly what this album's about. It basically had a demonic king sitting in a chair with all the heads of all these demons just sitting around him and stuff. And I was just like, oh shit, that's exactly what all these songs are about. You know?
Oh yeah.
Like if you listen to the words to Homecoming, it's about, you know, this underworld lord who has a child that basically slaughters his entire legion of underworld followers, and then takes it over and brings Wrathica to the world, you know, and that's why we were originally called Celtic Battle Gods. There's gods in our story too. That's kind of the song Forsaken is about the people that are being completely they feel like they're being forsaken by the gods. Unbeknownst to them, the gods are pretty much, they secured themselves in a barrier to not interfere with humanity, because they felt that the balance was, if they weren't there, the demonic creatures of Wrathica would not come out either. And for a few thousand years it worked, and then finally the demons, when Nakamura slaughtered this is all a fictional thing, it's just it's just Nakamura, the name of our protagonist, slaughters his underworld father, and severs his head and takes over the throne of Wrathica, and now he reigns supreme, as the song says, takes over, and then the song Forsaken, we got, people are, they feel betrayed, they feel hurt, they feel forsaken by these gods. They no longer believe in these gods, and then there's so much more to it. They end up, there's another song where they free the gods, and with a special artifact. Actually, it's been so long since I wrote the plot to this, I can't remember. But so they free the gods, and the gods basically sacrifice their immortality and their deity powers, and they pretty much harness these powers and give them to humanity to use for themselves, to defend and stand to fight for their survival and their liberty.
Oh yeah. The concept, being able to maintain a concept like that over 15 songs sounds like a chore. But it sounds like you got it figured out, man. I admire a concept album because I know how much it takes. But I just couldn't. I don't think I have your patience to be able to do that.
I have a pretty cool song that we started working on recently called Orion's Bow, and that's another artifact that'll be in the story. So basically, the Orion's Bow, they basically use it, and they become hunters, and they start hunting these demons, and they're pretty much using the bow to take them out, because obviously these demons have some type of supernatural powers. I wouldn't say they're mortal, but it's not like they're regular organic creatures either. So they're chasing and running and slaughtering these demons the best they can, and we got other songs where people sacrifice their lives to try to save humanity. We got a song called "Sacrifice," it's crucifixion. They don't actually crucify themselves. It's a more symbolic, figurative thing. It's just kind of like being a martyr, like in religions, like they have like religious figures and martyrs and stuff. It's just common in religion and stuff. Well, we do steal a lot of our gods' names from our story. Actually, I wrote it. I never ended up using this plot. Probably won't at this point, but I wrote a plot where the death of Poseidon happens, where he takes a human form, and when the god takes a human form, he loses his divine powers, and then they slaughtered him, and so the mystical powers of the sea probably pretty much ceased to exist. So it was just a bunch of, it's just the whole thing. I was kind of inspired a little bit by Cory and Cambria with the concept stuff, but I was kind of, I was more into the when I used to read books like a lot, I like to read like, I mostly read like nonfiction now, but back in the day I'd read like just fantasy type of shit, Star Wars books or whatever, and I wouldn't say that any of that like really inspired me, but I don't really know where I got the inspiration for the story. I think that the inspiration came from when we named it a band Celtic Battle Gods. I was just like, well, the Celtic Battle Gods for a reason, and I was just like, man, we should maybe write concept songs. Me and Cory Kellogg and Chase sat down and started talking about it, and it was like, let's turn these, because our first EP is not a concept album. Some of the songs can tie in, like We Can Be Free and stuff, but wasn't originally about it. But I think the concept thing, I don't know how much longer I'll do it. I think after maybe, this album, and some of the songs on the next one might be, but after that I kind of want to start branching out and doing some more stuff, like lyrically. I tried to, the reason I got into concept things is because I wanted to try to do something that wasn't entirely political or too ideologically motivated. I wanted to give something to people where they didn't feel sensationalism, where they weren't just relying on the emotion of music, but rather they could try to have an intellectual connection with music like I do. I'm not really emotionally connected to music like most musicians are. I think of music being more of a language than it is a feeling, you know. And,
we've talked about that before a little bit.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, I remember a Facebook post we talked on about how you've expressed it and you think of it more as a language, because it was something about how the emotion of music brought up, and you said it almost word for word what you said right there, that you think of it more as a language and everything, which is understandable too. Dude, you have all the knowledge with the degree from Ball State and everything. Your approach to music is going to be different than someone that's not, I don't want to say classically trained or something like that, but you have theory and all that, and me, I just started playing.
Yeah, I'm definitely not classically trained. I did study classical music in school and stuff, which I think classical music has definitely had an influence on my music playing, especially tonally. You know, I use a lot of most of our music is written very harmonically, or harmonic minorish and stuff like that, which is very typical of like the old classical and Baroque, you know, romantic periods of music. And nowadays, you don't really know what you're going to be listening to, because modern music has changed so much. Some of it's incredibly simple, some of it's incredibly progressive. There's just so much. Music is just a constant change of art. I mean, it never stays the same. I think it's one of the beautiful things about it. I think that's one thing that I need to really consider at some point with heavy metal. I mean, heavy metal will be a dead genre, just like all genres die.
Yeah.
The only thing that doesn't die is pop. And but if you look at it, like the pop music that came out in the '60s isn't the same that it is now. It still changes.
But if you look at what was considered pop in the '70s, it's different than the '80s, even what we have now. So. And metal has grown and changed. I mean, you were talking earlier about Iron Maiden, but if you think of like the death metal kind of movement there in the '90s with Cannibal Corpse and Deicide and Obituary and that kind of stuff, that death metal now, or that death metal then is different than death metal now.
Yeah, and the thing that sucks about that is like death metal was like, I thought it was going to be huge when I first heard it. I was like, oh man, it seems like. Because like I was just a young, immature mind and didn't realize it. I was like, man, it seems like metal gets heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier. I was like, what is going to come next? Like, how do you get past death metal? Well, then I realized that like bands started kind of sloping down from being heavy, and I was just like, you know, what is going to come next? And I never know what's going to come next with metal. But it's getting to the point now where everything's kind of starting to be regurgitated as the same. Like I feel like a lot of guitarists kind of started listening to a lot of the same bands and started playing guitar the same way. And I never really learned covers and stuff. I mean, I did, but not a whole lot. So I pretty much spent the majority of my guitar playing writing my own music. I know it sounds silly and kind of weird, but that's just the way I did things. I did learn a bunch of songs when I first started from other people, but at some point I just stopped doing that and started writing my own stuff.
Well, you built that base.
Pretty much.
And then you grew from it rather than continuing to play covers.
Yeah, I just kind of wish I would have took a different approach about it back then, because like honestly, in the most recent years, the biggest influence on my guitar playing, I'd say, was probably learning the stuff that I've played with Legion. Because it's like,
we haven't even talked about that. We're
right
over an hour now.
Lately, for the last couple of years, my biggest influence on my guitar playing has been Legion. Because like I was previously stating, I've influenced my own guitar playing, but nothing's influenced me the way Legion has in terms of playing, because
You're good, you keep talking.
Legion is something that I've never done before. They're a totally different animal of death metal. While Cannibal Corpse might be faster and more technical, Legion is more like chromatically musical, and like I feel more. I just feel something there. Like there is a feeling that you get when you play with stuff in Legion, and it's not like, it's almost like you feel like just this, it's like, I don't know, the only way I can describe it is I feel like a really powerful engine running, you know, and it's just, I don't know what it is, it just feels like power. It's like, I don't want to say it feels divine or anything, but it feels divine. No, it does feel different though. I've never played music quite like that, and I feel like lately it's definitely influenced my guitar playing. Like I brought up earlier, working with Dave and having him arrange a new thing at Rex with me. I even had a talk and I was like, I don't know if this will work as a Demons song or a Legion song, and you know, we talked about it, and we're not really sure what we'll do with it yet, but I'm sure we're going to make it into something. But they definitely influenced me to write that, and I just kind of feel like ever since then, all this new stuff I've been putting out has been slightly kind of influenced by their heavier style, and that's kind of what I wanted to go for in the first place anyway, because like I just like the heavier sound, and I'm personally, the music that comes out of my soul is more like tame, real soft. Like the first few songs I wrote in this band, we don't play anymore, you know, and they were really, really soft and like not metal at all, even softer than Muncie Coming Home, you know. And I mean, they weren't even rock songs, dude. And you know, I'm sitting here trying to write metal music, but I only write what comes out. I don't just sit there and force myself to make music, you know. And so fast forward to modern times, you know, I definitely have established like a metal style in my playing, and I really wouldn't have it any other way. Playing with Legion though is this was an opportunity that I didn't actually want to take, and I don't mean any disrespect by that. It's more of the fact that I wanted to be a fan of that band and be able to watch them play and enjoy it, and now I have to be a part of it, and I am so grateful for that. But the benefits outweighed my self-indulgence of listening to them, because I knew that if I joined this band of pretty much just guys that have nothing but experience, and like my idea behind it was, what can I learn? I should do this because this is an opportunity for me to grow, to learn, to be better, you know, and that's why I took this opportunity, you know, and I'm really happy I did, because the short time that we got to play shows and rehearse together, like I felt like it changed me as a guitar player. It made me a better guitar player. It made me more solid. It made me more think about guitar differently. Working with Scott Lindell, he's a killer dude. Oh, yeah. He's a killer guitarist, man. He writes some fucking awesome riffs. I mean, this guy he's got a mind for it. I mean, I wish I could write the way he does. I can't though. I'm not that.
You're not there yet.
Well, I just don't think that his style and my style, I don't think I could ever be his style.
Yeah.
I wish I could though, because some of the stuff he writes, I'm like, dude, this is genius. So Legion has a song called Endless Enmity, and the riffs in that song are some of the hardest riffs I've ever played on anything. And it's one of my favorite tunes I've ever played, because like it's so different. And just the experiences like that are just, you hardly ever run into them. Like, you know, you got bands like Zephaniah. Have you ever heard of them? Yeah. They are so amazing. And you got bands like Summon the Destroyer, also equally as amazing. You know, and they're thrashy and they're just speed, just running all across the guitar. And then you got bands like Legion, where I get an opportunity to play a very disciplined, super heavy, technical, you know, which they're still fast and stuff, but it's like so much more musical in a sense. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Actually, Zephaniah is like super fucking, actually both of those bands I mentioned are super musical too, but they take more of a melodic approach, where Legion is a more riffy approach. And other than a lot of the arpeggio stuff that Scott does, not like fast, not that type of stuff, but he does like melodic arpeggios, like he
does stuff that helps get you moving. Like Legion's that kind of music you can just like, it always, every time I listen to it, I don't stand still. It feels like something, like there's just movement with it.
before they invited me to come and play with them, I just got so enveloped by watching Scott Lindell play. Scott Browner was too hard to watch because he would sit there and move while he was headbanging and made him move his arms, so I couldn't really focus. But Lindell, though, I could watch him play, and I could like focus on what they were doing. And I was trying to learn their songs before I even like tried to join him. I just wanted to like learn what he was doing on guitar because it just sounded so different. And I actually couldn't do it because his hands just moved too fast, and some of the stuff he was doing just didn't make any logical sense trying to watch and what I was hearing. What I was hearing and seeing seemed to be two different things, and that's kind of normal when you're playing so fast. But so it was a huge honor to get invited to play with them and to learn all the stuff I have with them so far. And that's actually one of the biggest things I'm looking forward to get back into, is playing with them again when they get off the hiatus.
That was going to be the ending question. Like, I didn't know if we were there yet, but my ending, I did it with Jason. I'm going to try to do it with everything. Like, what's the future for Demons and Legion?
The future is probably to become more established with Demons. With Legion, my goal is to follow. I just want to follow them and let them lead, because I'm like I said, I'm still in the learning process with them, and that's probably how I'll always treat myself in that band, because like that's an opportunity for me to grow, and I don't have to lead every band I'm in. And that's awesome to me, because I really want to learn. I can only push myself so much, you know. With it's like a fighter, right? You got a guy that trains and a guy that spars, and you kind of need to do both to be effective, right? And it's like Demons, I can only train. Legion, I can spar. You know what I mean?
No,
so it's like, I have the best of both worlds playing with both these bands, and I absolutely wouldn't trade it for the world. I mean, I would love to do more. My time is kind of inhibiting it, but I kind of got some little things on the side that I might be getting into, like just to, you know, fulfill that void of Legion and the Demons, because like it's kind of hard to get everybody together, and everybody's got so much going on at work and kids, and I just want to play, man. Like I'm just the type of person, I ain't gonna wait around forever. You know, I'll be there when things pick back up, but in the meantime, you know, I'm gonna play the field. The field of dicks. Haggard.
Give yourself a plug. Where can we find Legion? Where can we find Demons?
To be honest, I don't really know where the Legion stuff is. I do know they have some stuff on Bandcamp. Demons, we got like 8 total tracks recorded. You can find it on all major platforms. Amazon, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, just pretty much anywhere.
Streaming stuff.
Yeah.
What's next show-wise for Demons? Because you said Legion's on a hiatus, so I'm assuming Demons is the show band right now, at least for now. Yeah.
Well, August 17th, Saturday, Carnival. We're playing. I think our set's at 5:30, maybe. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, dude, I have no idea. And I just made the fly.
That's actually probably going to be our last show for a while, because we're going to take a hiatus after that. We're going to finish this album, and I'm going to try to start writing in some new material to get another album going. I kind of, what my main goal would be to try to do from now on, try to just do like 5 tracks at a time, so we don't get all bogged down with recording stuff. Yeah. Because right now I got 1 song recorded out of like 15 or however many we got to do. It's just like, I just ain't got time for it. You know?
Like 15 songs.
Like next week I go back to work in 7 days, 10 hours a day and stuff. So it's like my time's going to be pretty limited. And it's not the end. I mean, I'm not ready to give up. I mean, there's some stuff that went down yesterday that kind of made me feel like I didn't want to really play anymore. But I mean, it was just a feeling. You know? And shit like that happens. I mean, not everybody's going to get along. There's always going to be drama. And we weren't even a part of that drama, but it affected us, you know. And that's one thing I think bands should be mindful of is, you know, or people that even like are involved in the community is like, can you set aside your pride to further and better everybody involved? And that's kind of one of the reasons I brought up the whole band, that the members that didn't like me earlier, is that, you know, we do maintain a professional relationship, and we are not hindered by petty things like that, you know. And I think that you know, we set a good example for how bands can get along without, you know, getting at each other's throats, and you know, trying to. And one thing I can't really get on board with is, like, you know, the whole flaw thing I got, because the dude was just straight up blowing racist comments on, you know, and it seemed like he did post a sincere apology, and if he did mean it, then, you know, this will probably be the last time I talk about it. But, you know, it was kind of recent. It's the only reason I brought it up, you know. And I hope he learned from it. You know, everybody makes mistakes. And so at this point, he made an apology. I'm not going to be the guy that calls him, you know, POS anymore. You know, I hope that he learned from it. I like watching people grow and be better. Never was a big fan of that band. I don't even know their music.
I didn't even know who they were.
Right. I mean, I had heard of them, but, you know, it is what it is. But as far as the whole cancel culture thing goes, I mean, if people aren't being racist, or, you know, they're not pedophiles or sex offenders, or I just don't see the point in even really getting so deep into it. You know, like, there's only a few things in this world that, like, I don't like thieves either. You know, fuck thieves. Like, that's one thing I can't stand, is a thief. That irks me the most. Like, well, probably besides pedophiles, but dude, I just can't stand thieves. I think it's just probably a personal thing. I've been ripped off so many times.
Dude, I agree with you. Yeah. Any last little bit you want to add in before?
Don't forget to tip your waiter.
All right.